Hi everyone. It's been 2 days that I want to do a particular video and I wish I could do it, though I'm not able to apply what is in my head. And it's not a problem of skill, it's not a problem of I don't have the time. It's it's more a problem of like maybe I have some ADHD. Okay. I might be like that type, and I think I am because I tend to get a thought and then I lose it and then I switch to something else. But as you can see, this video is not scripted. And the thing with that one more philosophy is when you fall in blading, the only thing you have to do is like on a horse. When you fall from a horse, you have to go back on it. You have to jump back into the trick. You have to try again at least once. And I think the reason why I didn't do these videos up to now is because I have the DIGITWEAKS channel, and on that channel, like I had one video at 12,000 views, which is nice, and I thought it would go on like this. Like I thought, like yeah, I had like one video like this. Now, if I do the same, I will have the same results. I was kind of a fool because it didn't actually happen. The next one I had like 600 views, and then I had like 42 views, and then I had like 43 views, and now the last one I have like 25 views. And in the 25, 5 of them are mine because I watched it like a few times, thinking, why do people don't even watch after 1 minute? And this video, I won't even edit it. I will do nothing with this video. I will just make the sound good, which will be done with only one little tool from Adobe. And maybe I will master the level and that's it. But I won't make like crazy color correction. I won't make like editing, adding like context, B-rolls or whatever. But I do this one just to leave a trace of a day where I said one more. And when you fall, like in Spain, it's funny because they say otra, otra, and after 4 or 5 otras, you feel like a matador. Basically, you feel like you back to life. Yeah, you will do it. And you need this sometimes. You need like an external stimuli. Stimuli are multiple stimulus, but whatever. And it's not easy when you work like I do in the studio, like I do. I don't even open the door today because I just want to focus on my message here. And the thing is, I'm so overwhelmed by the number of things happening. It can be on the geopolitical spectrum. It can be just opening YouTube and seeing like, I don't know how many, there are millions of videos uploaded every day on YouTube. It's enormous. And it's overwhelming when you do the content and you see that for the one video you posted, there's like 1,000 others that people can watch. And it's not even that your videos are bad per se, it's that it's a very competitive market basically for the attention, especially now with all the, like the faceless YouTube channels. There are like even the old media now is coming into the sphere. So anyone who has a phone now basically is a videographer. So I used to be one of those who can film back in the days. Like, oh, you have a camera, you can edit. Wow, insane. Yeah. Oh, wow, you're Spielberg. Now a 15 years old can do the same. So it's not. It's there's a part of me which has to be humble enough to be like, okay, you don't have authority in the space just because you are older. But one thing that I can do when everyone when everyone is giving up, there's one thing that blading gave me is the one more philosophy. Just go back to it, try another time. It doesn't mean you will succeed, and that's the right thing. That's the right mentality with blading is you don't even know if you will succeed the next try, but at least you test yourself, like you try to go one more. And this is what I need right now, because maybe my next video on DigiTweaks will be the right one. It's not only about luck, it's not only about the content sometimes, it's also about how you tag it and what you write and the consistency of, I would say, the referencing. There are many things in this, but in my case, the problem is I don't have any. Uh, I would say anger management system, or like anything where I can channel my energy. I used to be like the almost too perfect guy, like too kind with his girlfriend. Everybody was saying like you are too kind, like you need to, you know, and I tried that, and it didn't actually, it it worked well for me for like on the business side, because it makes me make content. But I feel like my superpower was actually being quiet and being cool with people, and being understanding and being compassionate. Like all that was fine. I think that was my superpower until I was like maybe 20, 25, 30 maybe. And then I basically lost it, because there are things like this where when there's always there's a threshold after which one you cannot even, how can I say that, you lose it basically. And I think I lost it at some point, around 2018, 20, whatever it is. I had enough. But I said one more. I had many people telling me, why don't you come back to Belgium? And I was like, I don't have anything special to do in Belgium. Like, okay, there's one thing is I have my friends in Belgium that are really, I have to be honest, I miss them sometimes, more than I expected. But I think I miss them because I don't have much social interactions here in Spain. And that's not the fault of other people. It's basically me being not in the right situation. But I'm trying to, every day I'm like, one more day. What can you do this day? What can you do tomorrow? What can you do the next week? Thinking about the bigger picture, like trying to find like that one little thing that makes me move forward, like the next, even sometimes the next hour. Because sometimes it's just I do a website and then I'm like, okay, I have to do this, and then I don't want to make this function, but I need to implement the function. Otherwise, like something is missing, and I have to do one more thing, and I'm tired. It's 4 a.m. and everybody's sleeping and nobody's watching me, and I have partners also that sometimes I don't even know what they're doing, because they are on their own, I would say, trajectory, or whatever, how you, like, they have their own path, and our paths sometimes cross, and then we see each other like few weeks later. Sometimes it's months later, sometimes it's years later. But the thing is, I don't want to bring like a very high quality content on this channel, but I want to give something that you can get away with, like you can take with you. And it's for me, uh even if I can skate right now, like what I can do, maybe uh I can go freestyle. But the problem that I have is basically, if I break anything, if I hurt myself, anything, I'm not covered by the social security in Spain right now. And I don't have the money to even pay for any expenses. I think I have $4 in my account right now. So uh I'm not in a position where I can fuffle, I cannot F around and find out. So I wish I could, but right now I can't. But does it really matter? Yeah, obviously it matters. So, uh, but still, I want to be, I want to document that day just for myself and others to be like, look, there was a day where I ended up taking the camera for other things than just business things. And I want to give you a bit of, I don't know your situation, because sometimes when you are in the worst place of your life, you don't realize that some people are even worse. Like for me, it's a financial problem, but for some other people, it's like an alcoholism problem. It can be an addiction. It can be like maybe a relationship problem. Like it can be so many things that just focusing on the financial aspect of things is not fair for others. So, um, and I have the things is I have solutions, but without that one more philosophy, I cannot see those solutions clearly. Like I have like that fog, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do today? And I have like thousands of thoughts in my head, and I'm just like, oh gosh, I need to take one and execute. Um, and yeah, funny enough, the day of the blackout that was like just a few days ago was the best day I had here in the studio, because finally I was speaking with the neighbors, which never happens basically here. Maybe once or twice, like per week. Like my best time of the day is when I go to the supermarket and I say, and I talk like 5 seconds with the cashier. That's it. Like there is no social interaction in the studio outside of some very rare guests and me sometime talking to someone on Zoom. Like that's it. Like there's no. So I'm getting a bit, you know, overwhelmed by all the things happening in the world in the same time. There's the amount of content which used to be my specialty, but now I don't know. I don't make many music videos anymore because there's no budget. I didn't make. I made tutorials. I made like some videos. If you want to watch it, it's at DIGITWEAKS. I can. I will leave the link in the video description, so you can watch if you want, but no obligation. But yeah, even when I put my effort into some content that is specific to make a channel monetized, I don't reach my goals. And it's very frustrating because I don't have much like it's like I don't have many options. I do also websites, but you need to find the client, and it's not easy to find the client. Um, Especially when you don't have the money to advertise. You can make content, but the content needs to be seen. So it's a cycle of the less money you have, the harder it is to get the client. The harder the less clients you have, the harder it is to advertise. So you're really at the bottom of the food chain, and you try to uh to get back on somewhere. And yeah, so I don't know what you can get from this video, but I just wanted to waffle a bit on that, because in all that, I would say, thought process with all those things in my head, that sometimes it's more than overwhelming. Sometimes it's even frustrating. Like I cannot even breathe. Sometimes I'm just like this, and I'm just like, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? And I I I could I can tend to blame others sometimes, more than sometimes actually. I tend to blame others, and every time I have to force myself to be like, you made your own bed. And it's not easy to look yourself in the mirror and be like, I made this. I actually made this. I was the one saying like, yeah, projects, like, yeah, let's go. And in the end of the day, like people do what they do because I'm, as I said, too kind sometimes. And I understand now that critique. Like back in the days, I was like, what is too kind? Nobody's too kind. And now, well, look at Europe. I'm that's exactly what happens. So yeah, sometimes you can be too kind, too tolerant. Like you don't have a threshold where you say stop. That's enough. Um, and I also have good partners. I think I don't think I've any. I don't think I met anybody with a bad intent, but it's just you need to pay the bills, and that's the thing where I really am not um great at, and that's why I chose YouTube. It was the only. It was not the only option that I had, but it was the option where I can make content providing value, and I don't have to make people pay for it because the ads can pay for it. So because I don't even like to sell services, and that's something where sometimes I have to force myself and be like, make one call for your services. Like just ask someone if they need your services. And every time I feel like I don't feel I don't like that, but I have to do it because it's my job. Like I don't have a team to sell my services. So I'm like, okay, how can I make a video that talks about this, and at the end I can offer my services? Uh, but it always comes back to the one more. Like you need sometimes just try one more time, and more often than not, when I was in the worst situation, I thought there was no way. Like now I'm there's no roof anymore on top of my head. Something happens. Something happens for some reason. Something happens, and I have to maybe. And I guess there's something in the universe that tells me you need to believe more. You have to have faith. And having faith sometimes is not about like believing everything is possible. Because people make me laugh sometimes. Like everything is possible. Um, Not really. Like there are things that are not actually possible. Um, but yeah, that's what we teach our kids basically. So we've been a bit lied to, I would say, when we were kids, because we were told you could be anything, and yeah, you can be anything in a certain sense, but there are limitations, obviously, like physical limitations and technical limitations. Um, but what's I'm trying to be at least consistent with myself and with my audience and with people that I love and like. And s I cannot say that I'm the best friend you can ever find, even though some people would tell me. Some people would tell you like, "Yeah, Getz is the best friend you can ever have," and I always like, yeah, with a grain of salt. I would say my best friend is still somehow my older brother, because he's the one who can tell me in its own way. He's got his ways, but he will tell me what he thinks straight up. And there are other people that I really appreciate, even in Spain also. Um, Maybe not the people that you might think I appreciate the most. Um, but in the guys, especially, like I have like few people I have in mind that maybe don't even know that I look up to them. And I don't look up to them because they talk to me or whatever. Like maybe I spoke once or twice with them, or maybe they know what happened when nobody was there to watch what happened, and they have a clue of why I'm like this right now. I think they understand that there's more to it than like some idiotic rumors that are out there, like, at the moment. But I don't even pay attention to them, because giving power to rumors, it's feeding the beast, and you should never You should never do that. Just like retards gonna be retards anyway. You cannot make make tards again. Like that's the thing. If you cannot do anything about it. But yes, some people can see through you without knowing all the details, but they can see that that's not a bad person. He's just in a bad situation right now. And eventually in the future, we can, you know, there's maybe more to it in the future, but right now they know that I'm not in the right position, but I'm still trying my best to, like to keep the church in the middle of the village, as I say. I mean, I don't say it. It's like a common second expression. Yeah, sometimes you just need to believe in someone once more. Maybe for some relationships, it's not the best advice. Sometimes I'm just like, maybe you should believe in yourself once more. Or you should try something different, once. But all in all, yeah, it's like, see, I had VHS tapes and digital tapes that we thought were lost in a garage somewhere. And I didn't want to annoy my friend with that because, it's VHS tapes. Like, he doesn't know what is inside. But basically, I have a session with Shima, Latimer, and Boomstilmer in Paris. And there's one particular footage where I rolled down the Paris-Bercy, whatever thing. And I wanted to have that footage somewhere. But the thing is, it is in these tapes, and back in the days, I didn't have a computer when I was editing these clips, so I never had a digital copy. But I know it's somewhere in those tapes, and I should have them next week. But that means I need to find also a player, because I have a digital 8 HI8 player here, but I don't have for the DV because I sold the HVX 200. But anyway, I thought it was lost. Like I didn't want to believe it was lost. And then finally last week, I received a message and he's like, I found them. I'm like, yes. And so sometimes it's just one more. You just need to try once more. And this is what I have with YouTube, especially, and is sometimes I'm like, nobody's watching my channels. Nobody gives a crap about my content. And then when I'm not looking, when I'm doing something else and I'm kind of like done with it, I come back a month later and I'm like, oh, you have 15 subscribers. Okay. I have 15 subscribers. I didn't even know I was even nearly as interesting than that, basically. Then, and with my Franglish, especially, sometimes it's even harder for me to. Well, it's getting better, to be honest. It's way better than a year ago, and I guess next year it's gonna be better also. Uh, but initially my English wasn't that great. Like my English, in terms of writing it and understanding it, is kind of like almost native. But when it comes to speaking, sometimes my Belgian French accent is coming back. So I had to learn how to, But again, it was one word at a time. Every word, like there are some words that are the same in French, written the same way in French. So instinctively you say it in French, but you don't even realize it. You don't realize it because you record whatever you say like this. And then you look back at the tape and then you're like, I said it in French. Like you think you said it in English, but you pronounce it in French. And it's something that can make or break, I would say, like a performance, because then you overthink everything. But one word at a time, I go on maybe Google Translate, or I watch videos and I'm like, how to pronounce that word. And then I take that word and I pronounce it and I try to understand the different versions of it, to be like, okay, this is the UK version, this is the English version, this is the Australian version. Sometimes it's like Texas and California or whatever it is, it's not the same. So you try to, even New York is even something else. They don't say ask, they say axe. Things like this, just like, yeah. And so yeah, I try to keep my mind as clean as possible. But the thing is, when you don't have anything to channel, like I spend most of my days on my computer here. That's what I do. What you have in business is the I think is USP, the unique selling proposition, something like this. And it doesn't mean that you have to sell it. Sometimes, like YouTube, basically the sell is not the sell on the end user. So it's not, nobody is selling. It's kind of hard to explain with YouTube because on YouTube, basically YouTube sells ads to viewers and gives back half of the revenue to the content creators. But you see what I mean? Like, you need to find, what are you actually selling? Like, what is the service that you provide, and how can you monetize that thing? And with blading, it's easy if you have like a skate company. You have a skate company, you know that you need to sell skates. You have like shops that will buy the skates and then they resell it, and you have wheels, and then you have the protections, and then maybe the easiest to do is still like clothes, because you can even do clothes on demand, which I don't particularly like, because I like to have like my hands on the product. So I want to know exactly what I'm selling. Like I want to touch it and verify myself. That's why Unlabeled right now is a bit, I would say, in a limbo, because I have clothes on demand on Unlabeled.store, but I'm not a fan of the. It's not even that the quality is bad. It's just that the process of selling, I would like to have like, I want to send rulers, like, like the things where you can measure yourself, to like, oh, I have one here actually, to put to clients, so I can be like, look, you have your ruler, what are the measurements of your favorite t-shirts, right? Once I have the measurements of the favorite t-shirt, then I can find the right size. And it shouldn't be based on oh, I like S, M, L, or XL, because the thing is, the sizes in Europe are different from the sizes in the States. And as we import things from the States, then people think like, like a XL t-shirt from, I don't know, Senate. But a XL t-shirt from Senate is maybe like a 5XL t-shirt in another brand. So I'm maybe exaggerate a bit, but that's the idea. That's the idea. So I'm trying to find like, what am I selling? How am I selling it? And it's a whole structure in my head. But I have this for like unlabeled clothing, which right now is in a limbo. But I'll find a way out of it. But now YouTube is more my. I guess YouTube, I can make money out of it, but I need to get the right approach. And my approach was to use DIGITWEAKS, which is my creative studio, provide like tutorials and like other cool stuff. And I thought that will take off. Like that, I'm sure I will make enough like views, and I will have like enough subscribers. And I'm at 335 subscribers, and I have like 1,800 watch hours. I need 4,000 basically watch hours and 1,000 subscribers. So I'm not there yet. But again, and this is why I come back to this all the time, how can I get one more subscriber? Thinking, and I imagine like not a stadium, because some people say a stadium, but I don't have a stadium. I cannot fill a stadium with 300 people. But let's say a room, like a meeting room, like a nice meeting room. Um, if I can have like 1,000 people, then I can get monetized. But if you make a video for one person and that speaks to that person, you may have a subscriber, but then you need other videos to also be, you know, seen by the same subscribers. So you need to create an avatar and everything just to. And the thing is, I think I lost the plot there because I make videos about so many different things, and now I'm looking back to the content that I did, and I'm like, yeah, it doesn't have like a consistent theme outside of entrepreneurship, but entrepreneurship is not really like a. It's very broad. So now I'm thinking, okay, what is the next video that I can do? And I I'm at that point now where I'm like, wait a minute. What if I change my mind and now come back to making blading content instead, which I like more? Because for me, making blading videos, it comes naturally, you know. I just need to I just need to find people interested into filming with me, and that's it. So I was like, okay, I need at least if I can start with the events. Because events, it's easy. You just check if you can film. Usually it's fine. You make the unofficial edit, and at least you have like a potential subscriber base. And I know that people will like the edit, but I will try to make it at the best of my abilities. Because now, if there's like an incentive, like being monetized, then I will be like, okay, I will try to be even more focused that day, not like because I can go left and right, but it's all about one more video. What can I do? One more interview, one more contest video, one more uh post talking about this and this and that, and one more session. It's the same when you skate. It's like I need to make one more session where I land that trick once. Once I land it, I know that I unlocked it, then I can redo it. And once you did it, like let's say 5 times, you can consider more or less that you got it. Then the next session is the same game again. You need to redo at least you have to do it at least once, and until you have it, you need to redo it and redo it and redo it. And that thing that I have in blading, I basically apply it to everything, basically. And sometimes I have I have to I have to stop myself, basically. I have to be like I don't know, like you like someone and you think like, oh, I will send one more message in case. I know sometimes you have to be like, you know what, that person doesn't actually appreciate that much what I do or what I offer to her or him. Just let it be. Sometimes you have to stop. But when it comes to your own goals that where you don't depend on other people, then you need to do. And blading is one example, like or like coding a website or something where you are by yourself, like a design, like something that you draw, like maybe a book that you write, something like this. You need to do one more page. You need to do one more drawing. You need to do one more attempt. You just need one more sometimes. And for me, this video is like the one more because I was like, you know what? I don't want to make a video talking about that and I was like, you know what? This video, maybe that's the one that I want to do. That's the one that I want to do for the people because I don't do it for myself here because I kind of because it's my YouTube channel, but I do it for the people because sometimes I have friends that think I have friends that actually think I don't think about them, which is kind of odd because I think about my friends all the time. And especially with women, like it can be uh, I don't like the word obsessive because it sounds like a bit creepy, basically. Um, but you can have someone in your mind, and that makes you elevate, I would say, the entire day, and you like thinking about that person, and it's great until it's not. But but it is what it is. People cheat, people lie, people manipulate. It is what it is. But when you are the kindest in the room, at some point you will find out. But it is what it is. And I don't mean not to be kind. I mean just make sure that the people in front of you are reciprocating the favor. I would say it's not a favor, but you know that they're in the same wavelength. And sometimes it's not even about the people directly; it's about the third parties that involve themselves into your business, basically, and it gets messy, and that's why most guys don't like the best female friend of their girlfriend. But that's what it is. It is what it is. Especially when that best female friend is like um not the nicest person and doesn't attract anybody, and basically doesn't like the other gender. There are things like this. Sometimes it happens. Like some people are frustrated and they just unleash everything into your people, and then you get basically in trouble because of those people. But yeah, it is like. But yeah, I need to take care of myself. Like as you can see, I took some paracetamol because my brain was. I have basically eye strain because I work too much on computers, and when I have the eye strain, then I have my nose that starts to be like blocked, and then it goes into my ears. Then I have my tooth, which is broken also, that starts to uh, and it gets into your brain. And the thing is, as I don't talk to many people outside of making YouTube videos, and sometimes having a conversation on WhatsApp, I have I need to find a way to unleash that energy. And maybe what I will do, my one more that I will do for myself, even with the limitations that I have on skating, will be to say I can skate often, but if I can do one more session, just one more session, even if it's not aggressive inline, if it's not aggressive, it's something else, because I cannot break anything. Even though I can break anything, I can break something even skating like this, but it's mm, less likely, I would say. Um, but yeah, you get the point. Basically, like if I can just take my flat skates. I don't have flat skates. It's more like I have blank skates with a flat setup. Um, and if I can just roll, roll around and just have fun, and at least like get that energy out of my body, then I won. And it's another case of one more session. Like it's like at the gym, one more day, one more session, one more meal without like so much calories, and one more day like have with a good diet. Like it is about one more. Sometimes you have to minimize the thing, because when you look at the bigger picture and you are not able to to get things done, sometimes you just need to narrow it down as much as possible and be like, you know what, I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow, I don't know where I'm going exactly with this, but it's always better to go somewhere where you have one more video, one more session, one more whatever you want to do in life, than to stay where I am right now. So yeah, for me that was one more video. And maybe you won't watch it. I guess that video gonna have like 10 views, like usually. But if there's one person that can watch this and be like, okay, bro, you motivated me, because I'm not super excited, as you can see. Like I'm 43 now. I have no kids, no wife, no nothing. Like I'm basically, I'm less tired now because I slept a lot this night. I had to sleep a lot, but I kind of like got over that hard work, mentality. Like, because if hard work was paying off that much, hens would be on the top of the food chain, and lions wouldn't be the kings of the jungle, even if technically lions are not in the jungle, they're in the safari. But things would be different. Because yeah, there's some advices like, yeah, you need to work hard and things like, yeah, I worked as hard as you can think of, and let me tell you, it is not always the solution. So you need to find a balance. uh but today I feel okay. I I at least I feel like, I feel at least that people want me to succeed in a certain way, because I can see I can see that people around me understand I'm not giving up, and at least I'm trying to do something positive. And it's not, they know it's not easy for me, because they know I have, like, my brain is like, I have the matrix inside my head. But um I can feel like they want me to get out of this negative mindset, I would say. And I think I'm getting there. I might actually be there already. Uh but it's a daily fight. I won't go over all the things, but yes, some people start their life with, I would say, a negative balance in attention, I would say. For me, it was from my father, and I think it translates a lot into my adult life. I didn't think it was that much a problem until I realized that I have some patterns that look like I'm trying to get attention about my performances, or I always wanted to be like the best blader in the world, like the best web designer. Like, I need to be the best. Like, there's a challenge, and there's no challenge. It's like I'm just really good at what I do. But I don't. I kind of didn't enjoy the moment, because I was so focused on being like seen. Like, I need to be seen. I need to be, like, I need to be the center of attention sometimes. And that's something that now I'm kind of like understanding better why I'm like that. Because if you ask me, like, do you want to be the center of attention, I would be like, not especially. Like, I like to be behind the scenes. I like to skate, but when you skate, it's not like your face is in front. Like, you let the skating express, talk for yourself. Like, the expression is done by the skating itself. I realized some things not in my 30s, in my 40s. uh and I had some days where I didn't want to do anything, because I was like, yeah, nobody gives a shit anyway. And when you say nobody gives a shit anyway, in my case, is my father doesn't give a shit anyway. And then I realized, wait a minute, I did all of this without my father anyway. He wasn't there. I've seen him maybe like a week in the last 10 years, maybe. If I wouldn't say if I'm lucky, because we never get along very well. Um, but I will never get the attention of that person. But I don't have to, you know, um, I don't have to transmit that to other people. Like I can once I understand the problem, then I can work on it. But you need sometimes one more part actually to understand what's the problem, and then it unlocks everything else. But that's the one more philosophy basically. Just try one more time. If you don't, if you and I talk about, like, there are some people that rather click the delete button, if you understand me. I'm trying to be YouTube friendly. There are some people talking about using the delete button, and I had some thoughts going into that direction, like maybe a year or two ago. But I'm still standing, and the fact that I'm still standing, I want to be the living proof that we can be better than that. Especially, well, the current situation is not in favor of, like, some white guys, I would say, because we are seen as the bad people, even though we are the backbone of Europe. Let's be honest. We are still the ones. We are kind of like the knights. We are like the ones protecting um, our countries. We are the ones building things. We are the ones managing all that mess. Whatever people say, whatever people think, we love our women. We love our children. So I don't have children of my own, but I would protect a kid, even if it's not mine. So we are not that bad, but yeah, society gives us a bad rap sometimes just for being white males, but it is what it is. Um, but you have to sometimes to show once more your value. Sometimes once more you have to show your value, and you have to protect your people once more. It is what it is. It is what it is. But yeah. I don't know where I'm going right now, but I think you understand what I meant by one more. And that comes from blading. Like, I don't have any more. I think I still have my double elbow. Yeah, I still have my double elbow here. Um, but this is every blader has that, basically, like the double elbow. And yeah, I don't forget anyone basically, but I have to do one more video. I have to do one more try. I have to go back into the game once more. Um, and sometimes it's not easy. When you are in the momentum, it's easier to go back on it. But when the momentum is broken, yeah, you have to, you have to find motivation once more, and make a plan once more, and execute, at least start again once more, and then eventually, But yeah, once more. Okay, it's been an hour I'm talking. You understand what I'm saying. So, and peace and love. Love your neighbor, and try to keep it peaceful in this world. Ciao.